Hey, this is Dr. Lisa Van Allen, and this is another prescription for your business success. It seems like lately I've been getting a number of questions from clients and friends and other business people about email systems, autoresponders, shopping carts, that kind of thing. And so I thought today I would come up with a few tips for you that help me figure out which system worked best for me. In the number of years that I've been in business, have used several of these systems. A lot of them are good. A lot of them have their drawbacks. So I have a list of 7 points for you to consider when choosing which email system and shopping cart to use for your business. The first thing that I recommend that you consider is your budget. Some of these are a lot more expensive than others. Some start with relatively low pricing. A lot of them even start with trials, and I highly recommend that you give a month or so trial with the system to see if it works for you and answers your questions and has ease of use. The downside of that is if we get into something like double opt-ins, and I'll explain what that is in just a minute, setting it up can be a real pain if you're going to end up using another system. So do use a trial though to kick the tires and to look at the ins and outs of a system to see if it's something that's going to work for you. And budget is really important because most of them charge a monthly fee, and by the end of the year that adds up to quite a bit. So picking out a system that you know that you can consistently meet on your budget will be an important factor for you. The second thing to consider is who's going to be sending these emails out. Who's doing the technical side of this? If you're just writing and have like a virtual assistant or someone in your office who will be doing it, great. But if you or the person who's going to be sending out these emails have limited technical ability, then I highly recommend that you pick one of the easier solutions. One of the easiest ones, the one that I started out with, was Constant Contact. Very simple system to use, easy to download or import your list to. You can have a double opt-in or not, so there's lots of pros and cons. There are other systems that are equally easy to use, iContact, GetResponse. In this level of system, it's really important if you're a newbie and technically not that savvy that you find a system that you can use and not spend hours and hours on videotapes looking at tutorials, because that is a downer and it gets in the way of you doing business. My third recommendation is to consider the size of your list. Most of these have graduated fees on a monthly basis based on the size of your list. So if you just have a small list, it doesn't matter that much, but how quickly do you think you're going to grow? And how well do you think that you're going to be able to market this over time? And next year or so, are you going to graduate and need to go on to a bigger, more robust system? So be real careful and strategic about the one you choose based on the size of your list. If you're coming over already with a relatively large size list, price compare, but also compare on the sense of the double opt-in. And what I mean by opt-in is, in order to get past spam, in order to not be treated like spam by most email servers, these email mailing systems have created what we call the double opt-in, where someone has chosen to be on your list and confirmed a second time that yes, indeed, they want to be on your mailing list. So an email goes out from your system and it says, please confirm that you are interested in joining Lisa Van Allen's newsletter. And if that's the case, then a second email will go out, please confirm. Well, you know, the more opt-ins there are, the less likely it is that everyone is going to rejoin your list. And so a double opt-in has the benefit of getting past spam and not looking like spam to people's email servers. But on the downside is your list does tend to deplete because some people don't respond, some people delete the email without even reading it, and so it can decimate your list. So think carefully about that, but in order to make sure that your emails get through to people and that you can track them and make sure that they are getting opened, I recommend a double opt-in. Now, if you've started in a system that didn't require double opt-in and then switch over to, like what I did, I went from Constant Contact to Aweber, my list was cut almost in half. So be ready for that. Now, there are list building activities that we can talk about in a future video, but that could be a painful thing for someone who is dependent on people reading and getting your emails and your announcements about products and services. So be prepared for that. The fourth thing that I want you to consider is, do you need autoresponders? Autoresponders are messages that you create, and you can create a series of them, and they go out automatically, and they respond maybe when someone signs up for your list or when someone buys a product. Another great use for autoresponders is to take an ebook and break it into chunks and turn it into an e-course. And over a period of several weeks, people are on a regular basis hearing from you and getting good content from you. You're touching them. You're dripping on them on a regular basis. I highly recommend a system that has autoresponders. Most of them have added this component. Some of the simpler systems didn't have that to begin with, but they're adding it. But double check to make sure that you have that available to you. And finally, you need to ask yourself whether or not you need a shopping cart. This is a huge issue, because if you're planning on selling ebooks, programs, services, marketing teleseminars or webinars, and you want people to pay you and have a shopping cart that you can use, then you need to think about, do I need an email system plus a shopping cart? Because a lot of these shopping cart programs have email marketing and autoresponders inside of them. There's two shopping carts that I've used and like very much. Kickstart Cart is one that worked well for me, but what I've done is I've upgraded to oneshoppingcart.com, and I highly recommend them. There are a lot of these carts out there. I'm not getting any money from any of this, but I want you to know that you want to kick the tires. You want to look at it. You want to make sure you're technically capable of using the system. You want to think about your budget and the size of your list. You need to determine whether or not you want an opt-in or a double opt-in. What kinds of services do you need? Autoresponders, shopping cart, all of that. These are considerations to make before you select which email marketing system you're going to use. This has been a prescription for your business success. And this is Dr. Lisa Van Allen. I wish every success to you. Thanks.